welcome back to my Local Love video series. This is Jenna Drummond with Royal LePage Benchmark. I'm super excited to introduce you to two of my favorite people. We've got Lindsay from Modern Habitat and Melissa from Jacob Grace Designs and the Small and Mighty Project. So thanks so much for being here. I'm really excited to have you guys on.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So to start off, can you guys just tell us a little bit about your business and why you started your business? Melissa, do you want to start?
Sure. So I started Jacob Grace Designs as a way to give back to neonatal intensive care units after my 3 babies were born premature. We started with the Small and Mighty design, and that was the design that gave back, and it just kind of rolled through that and kind of blew up from there.
Lindsay?
Originally it was Modern Teepee. I was on mat leave and I made a play tent for my son at the time. I kind of felt like everything that was out there was very circus tent-like.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that in the middle of my family room.
Of course,
Yeah.
yep.
So I made him one, and it kind of just was like a process through that. And then last year I made a bit of a switch and changed the name of my company to Modern Habitat, and now I'm focusing more on pillows and home decor and things like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Melissa, why did you choose clothing in particular?
You know what? I truly don't know. Maybe because I wanted just like plain clothes for my kids.
Yeah.
And it was so hard to find.
Yeah.
It was always pinks or blues or yellows. And I just wanted like basics.
Something basic, something modern.
My closet's full of basics, and that's
Yeah.
what I wanted for my kids too. And it was hard to find at the time. Basic, bland clothing.
Yeah.
Bland is such a bad word. Not bland, but just like basic clothes for my kids.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Lindsay, what sort of switched you into pillows?
I think that it was kind of like where I was in my life. Like my kids weren't really at that stage anymore, so it was like my direction had changed. I was starting to pay more attention to what my house looked like because it wasn't just a kid's zone anymore.
Yeah.
So I think that I still had a really great love for textiles and fabrics, but it evolved.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
And where are your clothing pieces made?
Some of them are made in Canada, and some of them are made overseas.
Cool.
So we make sure that we check into the factories that our clothes are made in if they're coming either from Canada or overseas to make sure the working conditions are good. And it's made ethically because that is important to us. I know it's important to a lot of people.
Yeah. Lindsay?
The fabric comes from the United States, and they are sewn here in Calgary.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you have like a certain company that makes them for you that you sort of contract out?
I have seamstresses here in Calgary that sew them. So I started sewing the teepees back in the day.
Yeah.
And then had some people start helping me because it was just a lot.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was the hardest thing about starting a business for both of you guys?
I think not knowing.
Yeah.
Like just for both of us, that wasn't our path. That wasn't our career.
Yeah.
It was something that we just kind of decided to do.
Yeah, fell into.
And it was really hard. Really hard.
Yeah, I agree. I had a downtown job, and it was a decision that I had to make whether I was going to make it work.
Right.
Staying home with my kids and then running this business, or go back.
Yeah.
So it was scary because it can always look like it's heading in the right path, but things can change and you don't really know.
Yeah,
and when you let go of a job, that you can't just be like, oh, I changed my mind, I'm coming back.
No.
Right? It's not there anymore. So it is scary, but
Yeah.
I also think that it was the best decision I made.
Yeah.
Like, it's made everything so much simpler for us.
And when did you guys start your businesses?
Really close to the same time.
2015.
Okay.
In February was mine. I think yours was
I think it was a little bit, maybe a little bit before. Again, it didn't really start off as a business. It was like a hobby at first.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just evolved into that. So
Yeah.
I'd say in and around the same time, like probably 2014.
Yeah.
For sure.
Do you guys have any tips or advice for people thinking of starting a business?
I would say make sure that you have a real passion for it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I feel like you can lose interest in it almost. Like for us, like especially with like the market and things like that, like we are around those kind of people all the time, and so the people who are passionate about it, those are the ones that seem to continue to thrive.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's it's creating something that is your own, not something that you've seen and you want to do, because you won't have the same kind of passion for it if it wasn't your idea. So I think we've heard that from a lot of vendors too, that you have to be so passionate about it. It has to be original and something that you really love, not something you see and you think, oh, that's great, I should do it. Because the passion isn't there and you won't succeed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you guys have any business owners or entrepreneurs either in Calgary or in the media or like influencers that you look up to and inspire you and motivate you?
I feel like anyone who is making a go of something that brings them so much joy and that they're passionate about, I feel like that is just an inspiring thing in itself. And I feel like there's so many people in the city that we've seen doing that. I don't know if I can like put my finger on
just one person.
I think just having a market, we literally see 80 to 90 new vendors at every event who are doing their thing,
and
loving
they're hustling, and it's just
and I think they're all inspiring. Like, I think anybody who's willing to start their own business and put their heart and soul into it is inspiring. I think there's just so many, I don't think I could list specific people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. How do you guys find managing a business, managing the market, and also still making time for friends and family and yourself? Like, do you have any tips for that? Like, I imagine your lives are very busy.
I feel like a lot of them kind of intertwine, which it works for us. Like, we're lucky now because our kids are in school, so that has given us a lot more time. Like, when we first started the market, all of our kids were home still. Grady, I think Grady was only half days at school, so like literally we'd be like, okay, well the kids can play, and then we'll try and accomplish something. Right. So now at least we know that like we set aside one day a week that we only do the market, and our kids are not there. So it's gotten easier. And
just having more time.
It's kind of like with the market too, like we can quickly do things here and there too, like when we have a free minutes. It doesn't have to be like, okay, I need to sit down and I need to spend 8 hours here.
No, for sure.
So it's nice that the flexibility is there, which is good.
And I think once we, like for market specifically, we divided what we do. So I'd say for the first year, we both kind of did everything. And so there was probably emails missed or messages missed, that kind of thing. But when we actually sat down and divided, so we each picked our strengths and we do what we are good at. And I think that's really helped us manage our time for that specifically.
It felt hectic before we did that. And because it was like all sorts of things needed to be done, and then you'd be like, did you do it? I didn't do it. Did you do it?
And then I think on our own businesses for Jacob Grace and Modern Habitat, I think it's hard to find that work-life balance because it's always there and people are relying solely on you. So if your phone is somebody sending a message at 9 p.m., you're going to pick it up and you're going to respond to it. So it's kind of, you have to decide when you're going to open up your phone and do that.
Phones change things.
So that they do.
Because it's just constantly there.
Constantly.
Like it's not like an office job where you're like, okay, well I'm closing the office door and I'm going home for the day. And I'm not going to see my computer until I come back tomorrow morning.
Exactly. Right? So that's always there. There's something that's popping up, whether it's an email or a text or a phone call, all the time. So it's tricky, but.
For sure.
Do you guys have any favorite books or podcasts or something that sort of pumps you up or motivates you or inspires you?
We were just talking about this on the way here.
What was it called?
How I built this.
How I built this. So it is actually a podcast that I just started listening to, and it's people who own businesses, and they literally tell their story of how they started, how they got there, their failures, their wins. So it'd be like Peloton or Tom's, and they tell you the story of how they got there.
Oh, that's cool.
I'd say that's kind of, we both love to, when we get time to sit down and watch TV, we'll sit down and we will watch TV because it doesn't come very often. But for like road trips and that kind of thing, I think that's when we will dive into podcasts, and that's kind of been the best one for business-wise that we've found. Because it's just, you can learn from their mistakes.
Totally, which is super helpful.
That, they did make mistakes.
No, totally.
Nobody's sailing for anybody. Everybody's
got their own experiences that they've been through, and if you can learn from somebody else's mistakes, all the better, right? Yeah. Melissa, can you tell me a little bit about the Small and Mighty project?
Yeah, so our Small and Mighty project I started back when we started Jacob Grace. So the funds from our t-shirts went back to the Calgary Health Trust, but the Small and Mighty project was just by donations that came in. We then created gift bags and delivered to the 5 neonatal intensive care units in Calgary for World Prematurity Day in November. And we also had photographers volunteer their time to go into each site and photograph those families as a gift to them. And as the years have gone on, I've really noticed the impact we're making with the families specifically. So we just this last year shifted our funds from the t-shirt sales are going straight back into our project so that we can hopefully reach more families across Canada and not just in Calgary's NICU sites.
Cool. And what are your goals for the Small and Mighty project? How big do you want to take it?
Well, we just became a nonprofit.
I know.
To,
amazing.
The $25,000 from the Mortgage Connection.
Yeah.
We were able to hire lawyers and get all that paperwork done. We're now going for a registered charity status. My goal would be to get into every neonatal intensive care unit across Canada and then eventually down into the US and around the world.
Yeah, it's amazing. The next thing that I sort of want to touch on is the market that you guys do. So I've been attending the market for a long time. I'm a huge supporter. I know people who know me have seen me posting about it all the time because I love it. So why did you guys start that? How did you guys connect with your two businesses? Tell me about it.
I feel like the market was kind of, I don't know what the word is, like not an accident, but not an accident. Like we had gone out for dinner to talk about how we were going to like have some sort of sale or market with our own businesses that we wanted to do together. So we were trying to come up with an idea on like
small scale, like 14 shops.
Like just like a group of like friends of ours that also had small shops. Like let's get together and have like a sale. And that somehow changed into, we took over all of Starbelly, which was where our first market was, in Seton, and people started asking like if it was a market and if they could be in it, and so we took over the whole restaurant. Like it was really an accident. Like it wasn't like we sat down and were like, let's have a market, let's start a market.
Yeah.
Like it turned into that.
Yeah.
But it also turned into something that like we had a passion for.
Yeah.
We knew that there was something missing in the suburbs of Calgary. Like all the markets were downtown at the time.
Yeah.
Most of them anyways.
Yeah.
Nothing in our end of the city.
No.
So we felt like it was missing something. And we just kind of wanted to create something a little bit different than everyone else was doing.
Yeah.
Something just like more welcoming or like, I don't know.
I think like for us in being moms of young kids at the time, we wanted it to suit our lifestyle because a lot of our friends, when we would go and be a part of other markets, would never, like our friends could never come because they had kids at home and it was too far to drive. They had to pay for parking. So there's all these things stacked against it.
Right.
And we kind of started to notice that, and we wanted to create this little market that our friends could come shop at because it was just such great products. And that was kind of how we just
for sure
created something that was short, one day, something that we as parents could do.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I agree with what you're saying. You've sort of created a certain community.
Yes.
You've got a certain
100%,
culture almost. Like it's very inclusive with like so many amazing people that attend it, and the vendors are awesome as well.
The vendors and the people that come to the market, like they've created relationships with each other, which is amazing.
Yeah,
it's turned into basically what we wanted it to be. Maybe we didn't know we wanted that.
Yeah,
but like it's become something that's like just what we wanted, right?
How many vendors do you guys have at every market?
Over 90 now.
Over 90?
Yeah.
Wow. And it's usually at Rally Point?
So we do two at Rally Point in November and February, and then we do 2 at APCO
Yeah.
in May and September.
Okay, cool.
And then a Kelowna.
Yes, I know. Very cool. That was the first one was last year.
The first one was last year, and we're going back again in August.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So the next one's coming up in May. Do you guys have the date for it yet?
May 2nd.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
at ATCO.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you guys will definitely have to check that out. Thank you guys so much for being on here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Do you guys want to sort of just, do a shameless plug? Where do people find you?
Shameless plug.
Yeah, on the internet or on Instagram or wherever.
Sure, you can find our market at Little Modern Market. Our Instagram handle is just Little Modern Market, and littlemodernmarket.com. You can find Jacob Grace at jacob.gracedesigns on Instagram. Small and Mighty Project is Small and Mighty Project. And
Yeah. And Modern Habitat is Modern Habitat YYC on Instagram, and modern-habitat.com is the website.
Cool.
And yeah.
Cool. I can vouch for all of their products, and obviously the market is great. I don't have any of Lindsay's pillows, but I have bought them for clients as client gifts, and everybody loves them. And I have 3 items from Jacob Grace, I think. 2 t-shirts and a hoodie. Oh no, I've got a pullover. Yeah, I definitely have more. Anyways, I love them, so definitely check them out. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like to check out their products, they are going to do a little bit of a discount. So you can use the discount code
Jenna20.
Perfect.
For both of us.
Cool. So make sure you check that out, and thanks so much for watching.